Rambo, a name that is deeply etched in the world of action films. Not just an icon, this character has become a symbol of courage, strength, and an unyielding fighting spirit. Many of us are probably already familiar with John Rambo, a former Special Forces soldier who fights to survive in extreme conditions. But do you know the origins of this character and what makes him so legendary? Rambo was first introduced in 1972 through the novel First Blood by David Morrell. In the novel, Rambo is depicted as a Vietnam War veteran who struggles with trauma and alienation from society. However, when the First Blood film adaptation was released in 1982, the character was developed into a more brutal, unstoppable figure, thanks to Sylvester Stallone's portrayal. In the film, Rambo is not just a soldier, he is an individual forced to fight against misunderstandings from local law enforcement. The conflict symbolizes the struggles faced by many war veterans after returning to civilian life. However, over time, Rambo's character evolved into a nearly invincible fighter, defeating his enemies using extraordinary military tactics. Rambo's fighting style became one of the most unforgettable features in the world of film. He doesn't rely solely on physical strength. Rambo is a master strategist. He is capable of using his surroundings to his advantage, hiding in the forest, setting traps, and combating enemies in clever, lethal ways. His favorite weapons are, of course, the bow and rifle, but Rambo is also skilled in using a large knife that has now become a symbol of this character. Every movement in his fight feels meticulously planned, even though it might appear that he is acting on instinct, which is what makes him so terrifying. Rambo is a symbol of mental and physical endurance. In many films, we witness how he survives in nearly impossible conditions. Often, Rambo faces enemies that outnumber him, but he always manages to overcome the odds. One fascinating aspect of his character is his ability to turn every weakness into strength. For example, even though he often fights alone, he has the ability to adapt to situations and use uncertainty to defeat his foes. Beyond his combat skills, Rambo is also known for his extraordinary mental toughness. In First Blood, we see him struggling to cope with PTSD, and in Rambo, First Blood Part de Saturn, 1985, he is forced to return to the battlefield to undertake a rescue mission. No one can stop his determination to do what he believes is right, even when it means going against the system or the government itself. One of the most interesting things about Rambo is how he has become a symbol of the spirit of an individual who refuses to give up, even when faced with seemingly impossible situations. For example, in Rambo III, 1988, he travels to Afghanistan to rescue his former commander, who is trapped behind enemy lines. In this film, Rambo battles the powerful Soviet forces with the help of his friends, who also possess incredible skills in warfare. His fighting style, which blends physical strength with military cunning, has captivated action fans worldwide. However, Rambo also shows a more human side in several of his films. In Rambo, 2008, we see an older Rambo who prefers to live quietly in Thailand, but is eventually called back into action to rescue a group of missionaries. Here, we see how Rambo's feelings about violence and war have changed. Although he still holds firm to his principles, he begins to feel the toll of everything he has been through, showing that this character is much more complex than just a ruthless killer. Rambo's achievements as a film character are not just about the action or battles that thrill us, but also about the impact he has had on the film industry. First Blood and its sequels helped create a new genre of action films filled with tension, realistic combat, and more serious, emotional heroes. Rambo became one of the biggest figures in action movie history, competing with icons like James Bond and John McClane. Additionally, Rambo has had a huge impact on pop culture. The iconic large knife he carries, his signature outfit, and Stallone's tough demeanor have all become unforgettable visual legacies. Many generations have been inspired by Rambo's spirit and courage in facing life's challenges. Another interesting fact is that Stallone himself was initially hesitant to take on the role. Before the first film was made, he felt the character was too extreme and difficult for audiences to accept. But once First Blood was released, Stallone's career skyrocketed, and Rambo became an inseparable part of his journey. Moreover, Rambo's character has gone through various changes over time. In some of the later films, Rambo is depicted as an older man who, although still tough, has grown weary of the constant violence, yet he continues to fight for others.